Jason Noble. I go by DJ Sun professionally. I'm a DJ, produce, I put events together, dot connector. I also do like some mixing, mastering and stuff, just music things. So I went to Baltimore School for the Arts, which is arts high school in Baltimore, and I went to their classical music program. So I was like playing instruments as a kid, and I always knew I loved music. I wasn't very good at instruments, and that kind of was frustrating, especially at BSA, because BSA got some really, really talented folks. So I always felt like I was trying to keep up, and then on the side, you know, I was always listening to hip hop and all kinds of music, and I started DJing like as a hobby in middle school. Like my friend showed me he had the iPod Touch, and he used to have this little DJ app. It's a super new school story, but he showed me that, and that was when I was like, oh my God. Like my brother he had like a little DJ phase earlier too, so like I remembered that it was a thing, you know what I mean, in that moment. And I was like DJing all through high school, just on some like, you know, at the parties I would have gone to anyway, you know, friends' house parties, stuff like that. And then when I went to school in Philly, I went to school for music as well in Philly, and Philly just has a really beautiful DJ culture. And like I had thought about DJing before that when I was in Baltimore. I knew it was something I loved, but I never really put it together that like you could be a DJ. You know what I mean? So when I was in Philly, it was the first time I saw people really like running that up and making it look viable. And you know, like in Baltimore, it's changed a lot. You know, the arts community goes through its phases, but I remember when I was younger, it was like, you say, yo, I'm a DJ. It's like, oh, Mr. DJ over here, okay, Mr. Big Time, you know what I mean? Where in Philly, it's the opposite. It's like, you say you're a DJ, and it's like, all right, where do you DJ? Same shit as if you said like, you know, I'm a barber. Where do you cut hair? It's casual, it's respected, it's understood. So it was like, it felt possible being in Philly. It felt like you know what I mean? So yeah, when I was in college, I was going to school for mixing and mastering, and I kind of just realized like, wow, like this music thing that I always felt like I loved but didn't really have a place in, like I wasn't gonna play classical music my whole life, you know what I mean? And then it just kind of clicked. I was like, yo, I could just DJ, you know what I mean? Like that's a lane, you know what I mean? And I feel like it's a beautiful thing when creative people find their lane, because you could be creative without having that thing that really clicks for you, you know what I mean? And that's why it's important to keep an open mind and kind of like try out a bunch of things, because you might be really into fashion, but you're better at styling than actually making clothes. Be a stylist. You know what I'm saying? So that shift in my weight was a really important moment where I was like, damn, I could be a DJ. Y'all gonna get me in trouble with this one. Look, like, nobody was ever supposed to put two turntables next to each other. So from the jump, this shit was never supposed to happen, and because of that, I think it's born out of a outside of the box mentality. People traditionally talk about open format as spinning all different kinds of genres, but I think it's more than that. I think it's an approach on life. You know, open format means learn all the equipment, learn all the different styles, learn about house music, learn about Afro beats, learn about this and that, and pull what you want from all of them, you know what I mean? So I really don't believe there's a right way to DJ, and I think that's the beauty of it. And like, I'm a nerd, I'm really into the technical side, but I do not put that above crowd reading and party rocking. Like I know that if I go in a club and start scratching, there's a way to do it tastefully, but if you miss that, you lost the whole crowd. It's like, you know what I mean? You made it about yourself, and I believe that like the top tier like goal of a DJ is to make these people lose their fucking minds. You know what I mean? Like, so I think a good DJ in that sense is somebody that has a knowledge of so much that they can pull from what they need in the moment to strip people down past their egos, past their occupations, past everything, till it's just a room full of people having a good time. And with that said, I just want to shout out this one DJ I saw one time, and this is a moment that made me think about all this differently. Basically, I was at the Function, which is a classic Philly party, like a staple underground locals night. And this DJ was terrible. I'm talking like every transition sucked. But he was having so much fun that shit was contagious. And in that moment, I'm like, damn, transitions are trash, but it doesn't matter. So in that moment, I'm like, I feel like, you know, energy is contagious, and like the DJs, like if you're having fun and doing what you love, it's kind of like that applies to all art, but I think DJing is a really like cut and paste example of that. You know what I mean? If you're doing what you really fuck with and what you think sounds good, chances are, you know, somebody's gonna fuck with that too. I feel like I have an identity crisis. Like I came up on hip hop, and that's what made me really want to learn about turntables and DJing in general. Like I was listening to like, you know, Gang Starr and like all the 90s hip hop, and I was like, damn, I want to learn how to make this beat. I want to learn how they're making this stuff, and I realized they were using turntables, so I was like, all right. So hip hop is like my easy answer. And I love spinning hip hop, but especially recently, you know, the more commercialized hip hop got, the less fun those spaces became. Nobody likes going to the club anymore, you know, the bottle service clubs anymore. You know what I mean? I miss playing them because like, I always laugh, like my default just growing up in Baltimore, like if I'm a little schmizzed at the party, my default is just we're in the strip club in Atlanta. You know what I mean? Because that's just the era I live. But dance music, you know, I really, really love dance music, and it's kind of a joke, like every hip hop turntablist nerd eventually graduates to house music. It's just like a, you know, a thing that happens, and like, in the pandemic, I really started leaning into it, and I always had my club music roots from Baltimore. I always say like, hip hop was the flavor, but Baltimore club was the like energy. You know what I mean? And something about club music is, you know, it was always too hip hop for dance music and too dance music for hip hop. But it's kind of getting recognized now and getting placed with hip hop as it's blown up. Like you're not hearing club music at these festivals in Miami, you're hearing it at the R&B parties in New York, you know what I mean? So I think that even within dance music, there's a whole hip hop spirit that is there, whether those people know it is or not. And that's like a whole different thing. That's like what I tell myself when I'm like only spinning dance music for 2 months, and I'm like, damn, you know, I miss spinning like just beats and stuff. So I can't really give an answer. Like I really listen to so many styles. I like 90s house, I like garage and UKG, all the club music adjacent styles. You got club music from Baltimore, Philly, and Jersey. You got Miami bass, you got Chicago house, you got techno and juke from Chicago. You got UKG from, you know, England. You got Baile Funk and Favela Funk in Brazil. And they're all the same BPM. You're gonna get me talking now. But this is like a really interesting thing, right? All these different styles that I just mentioned are all around 130 BPM, right? Baltimore club is a little bit slower than that sometimes. Jersey club and juke. Jersey club is a little bit faster than that, and juke is way faster than that. But they're all within this like 10, 15 BPM range. When I say BPM, that's beats per minute. So in Baltimore, Jersey, and Philly, boom, 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 boom. Baile Funk, boom, ga, ga, boom, ga, boom, ga, ga, boom. Drill in New York, boom, ga, boom. All the same shit. Juke, boom, 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 boom. Same speed, different groove. So what I'm saying is, that's a cultural significance. That's like a functional art, right? So every genre has different superpowers. You want people to lose track of time and forget where they are and forget their name and go to a different universe, play house music. They're not gonna know when the songs start and stop. So literally, they don't know how long it's been. Where with hip hop, it's like, oh, transition. You know what I mean? It's like, so from the open format world, like I really believe that every genre has something to learn, you know, and then you can pull the house music tendencies into your hip hop sets and make them a little more lush and blendy, you know what I mean? And then you scratch a little bit on your house sets. All of a sudden, the dude in the other room at the rave knows you're DJing because nobody does that. You know what I mean? Like, that's the beauty of hip hop. Like, nobody, you know, scratches and cuts up the same. Anybody can mimic a transition or a blend, you know what I mean? But nobody cuts the same. So you throw a little bit of cuts over some house music, all of a sudden it's got individualism and flair, you know. I like them both for very different reasons. I like big crowds because you can pull things off differently and really like build the tension, and then like you can party, you know what I mean? Like you can really just send it out. And with smaller events, like I like doing like parties at galleries or like art openings and like these more intimate, clothing pop-ups, stuff like that. And I like that because I think you can set a deeper vibe, maybe, you know what I mean? And people really are in it with each other. They dance together, they dance around you, you know what I mean? People are coming over and kind of like, those boiler room vibes, you know what I mean? Obviously a boiler room is like a big event, but you know what I mean? Like it's supposed to be intimate. So I don't know. I think two sides, and it's literally the same as the last question. Like when I say open format is more than just multiple genres, it's about knowing your way around different rooms. You know what I mean? So I really think that they're both like I just love that challenge. Like I used to, especially when I was younger, I would like put myself in these situations that I maybe wasn't ready for just so I could get ready. You know, I was doing like foam parties, playing straight soca and reggae, because I wanted to be able to go 2 hours on that and know my shit, you know? Or whatever it is. So I feel like, whether it's a small room or a big room, there's like a playbook that you won't know until you experience those. But you can like create very intense energy in both spaces. It's just different. This is my thesis, right? Music connects mad people because it's accessible. And what I mean by that is partially because of the science of it. The literal, just like, if you walk past the store and they got some art in the window and they're playing music and you're on your phone, you didn't see the art, but you heard the music. Just off the science of it, right? But also in the cultural part, like, you take your homie to the art gallery and you say, what do you think of that? They might not have any opinion. They might not know how they feel about it because it's a bunch of squiggles, some modern art or whatever. You play them a song, and I'm talking about your homie in finance, like somebody who's not in art at all. You play them a song, they'll give you a TED talk about if they like it or not, and their opinion is valid and whatever, you know what I mean? And it is, you know what I mean? Art is subjective. Like everybody, I think, can say whether they like art or not, but in this culture, for some reason, everybody feels like they know what's good music, right? Where art is like, I don't know if that's pastels or a paintbrush, you know what I mean? So I think that because of that, music is just such a reference point. You know what I mean? It's like movies. It's like, oh, you listen to this music too? I probably could guess a lot about you based off your playlist, which means I feel comfortable, I feel familiar with you, right? So I think it's a familiarity thing, you know what I mean? Yeah, I think, it's like a cultural identifier, It's like, oh, you like Gucci Mane? All right, we can be friends. Man, all right, I have a word for these songs. Because you got you got the classics. You got the classics, you got the bangers. These are different things. Like a classic is like All Right by Kendrick Lamar, or like Hey Ya, you know what I mean? Actually, not Hey Ya. I'm gonna say that for a different category. But like a classic is one that you can play through the eras, you know what I mean? It might be 10 years old, but it's still gonna get that reaction, you know what I mean? I played Overnight Celebrity this weekend, and it got a reaction that really surprised me, but it's because it's a classic. Like, you know what I mean? Like when that intro goes and play something, it just, you know what I mean? It's one of them ones. So that's like a classic. Then you got the bangers. This is the seasonal stuff. This is like, and it's too soon to say whether it's a classic or not, but like Okay by JT. That's a banger right now. You play that, you know it's gonna work, right? Then you got the cheat codes. The cheat codes, and that's what you're asking about. The songs that you can play anywhere. And this is a song where, like, if something goes wrong at the club and the music stops, the drink spills, you hit the wrong deck or whatever, and the music stops, you gotta pull out a cheat code. Because these are the songs that literally the first note, it's a rap. So I'm talking about, Hey Ya is one of them. You know what I mean? 1, 2, 3, And it doesn't matter to be eligible for a cheat code. It's got to work at any age too. I'm not talking about just the club. I'm talking about at a wedding. I'm talking about at a block party. I'm talking about at, anywhere. The music stops, gets a little awkward for a second. You drop that, it's up. You know what I mean? So different genres got them. Love Comes Down. No, 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 no. Come down. It's like 1984, right? People don't know they know, but everybody knows it, and you can play it anywhere, and it's just like a vibe. All right, you wake up. I'm a DJ, so I'm talking about it's like 12 p.m. afternoon. You know what I mean? I'm waking up late, right? Sun's up. You go out. You making your breakfast, right? Bossa Nova. Listen, when you're cooking, listen to some Bossa Nova. Gilberto and Getz. That's like the entry level. You want some gateway drugs for Bossa Nova? Gilberto Getz. And then if you feel a little freaky, you can get into some Sergio Mendes and stuff like that too. But yeah, so Bossa Nova in the morning, it's smooth, but it's got that drive and that anticipation. The drums go crazy, so it's like, all right, you ready to get into something, you know what I'm saying? Every moment has a soundtrack, you know what I mean? So there's so many good options. Like on a nice day, you're spending time outside, it's kind of warm out. Some like Terrence Martin, Yusef Days, like them like, some 90s, but them like, I don't know, the like jazz, hip hop, fusion vibes, you know what I mean? Stuff to drive to. And then when the sun starts going down, you start with the Kaytranada, you know what I mean? You start to bring the tempo up a little bit, more lush, more vibrant vibes. And then once the sun goes down, I need everywhere from Future to Sammy Viraj and like the wavy house music and like club music and trap and like bass, you know what I mean? I feel like when the sun goes down, you need that bass, whether it's like 808s or just like, bass lines and stuff. So I'm not gonna go too deep into it because I could answer that question all day. But yeah, definitely genres for every moment. You know what I mean? I really love, this is a side piece on that, is that like the pandemic opened it up. All of a sudden, people weren't just listening to DJs at the club, they were watching the streams. And that means when you're cleaning your house, you got a DJ. When you're cooking, you got a DJ. When you're driving, you got a DJ. And what that allowed for the DJs is all of a sudden, you don't gotta play lit music all the time. It doesn't have to be at 100% all the time. You can play stuff and let it breathe and play the tracks with no drums that are just like wavy. If you wanna play, Andre 3K's flute album on a stream, that's the place to do it because, you don't always need to be at the club. So, I think about soundtracking for life all the time. Like that's how I like compartmentalize music, I think, is like what part of the day is this for. Collaboration, I think, is how you get there. And for me, like every time, I always say like I do curate events because sometimes I want things to exist that I don't see. And also sometimes I just want to do certain things and work with certain people, and it's like, all right, I'll just curate the night. But I don't think of myself as a curator. I know that there's people who really, really, really do that well and think of all the things, that make an experience, where I'm usually just thinking about the flow of the DJ night and, whatever. And I really love the nights where I can just show up and focus on DJing and make sure that my set is the best it can be. So I think collaboration is really important there. Get people who are good at different things in position to help, and also like parties are great when it's thrown by a group of people, because then there's this baseline of like, let's have a great time, but rather than just one person being like, I hope people show up, you know what I mean? And then the other thing, as far as like goal when curating, memorable. And this is a big thing, right? You could go to the best night ever at a club, right? I'm talking about they sent you free bottles, your crush was there, she got with you, the DJ was flawless, you know what I'm saying, and then there was a great night. That's gonna get blended in with all the other great nights that you've had, right? The DJ was so flawless, I didn't even realize he was there. You know what I mean? Or she was there, you know what I'm saying? So I always say, and this is how I look at DJ sets too, actually. A memorable set, a memorable event is better than a good set or a good event. And that's because, like, yeah, it was a little bit of a rough transition and it was risky, but when he slid into Nirvana, Smells Like Teen Spirit in the middle of a house set, that was the peak of the night, and I'll never forget that moment for as long as I live. You know what I mean? So those little things that like are ballsy and like, you know, you take risks. I think that like creating memories. So when you go to the events where you're like waiting in line and they got like somebody fire eating and like they got the mariachi band while you're waiting. I went to a rave in Philly one time it was in a construction site, and while we're waiting to get in, they had a mariachi band playing. And mind you, when we got in there, it was all like, and like I'm looking at that, I'm like, oh, I'm not even inside yet, and I'm never gonna forget this. You know what I mean? So I think like memorable is something people don't think about enough. Like really take it there, do some shit that's different, and make people like, you know, yeah.
Almost question, but then be like, you know what, that was kind of wild, little kid.
Not even question, but like, cause you could be extra and have it not hit. You know what I mean? You could have like a memorable night for the wrong reasons. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that. I'm just saying like these spaces and these situations, you know, in people's lives, right? Nightlife is a very, very unique and special space. It's sacred because it's downtime. It's also where everybody overlaps. You know, in the club in New York, you're gonna get somebody from Wall Street standing next to a supermodel, standing next to a skateboarder, standing next to a drug addict, actually the supermodel was the drug addict. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody crosses over in nightlife. They're standing next to a school teacher, by the way. You know what I'm saying? So I think that like there's just an opportunity here to, rather than just like, yo, that shit was lit, to like go surreal with it. You know what I mean? Break the matrix with it. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like so much now is about hospitality and alcohol, but like, you know, you look at like the disco era, they used to have like horses in Studio 54. Like you'd see a zebra in there. You know what I'm saying? Like they were just like, the mysticism of it was off the shit. So I think, you know, bring that back. I'm trying to see a zebra at the club. Drug dealing? No, we can cut that. This is a weird answer. Skateboarding, right? And I say that because like I think there's these things like DJing, like skateboarding, like cooking, like rock climbing, and it's like it's a sport, but it's an art. But it's a sport, but it's an art. And it's a lifestyle thing, right? Like to be a good DJ, to be a good skater, to be really in it with these crafts, you kind of gotta situate all of the things in your life around that, right? If you want to wake up at, you know, the crack of dawn every day and work out, it's gonna be a little bit of a friction with your DJ career. You know what I mean? I know DJs that do that. Salute to them. That's not me. But you know what I mean? So like what you eat, what you drink, how you spend your time, where you go, your capacity for loud music, like all these things, like you kind of have to curate your life around it if you want to play at a certain level. So that's why I think it's like, you know, and there is a competitive aspect to DJing, but there's also a taste aspect to DJing. Same with skateboarding, you know what I mean? I just want to say too, like I know people be like, I don't know, trying to like have a hierarchy with types of art. I don't think there's any hierarchy, you know what I mean? I think if you longboard, that's what's up. If you hit the park and do kickflips, that's what's up. It's two different worlds, it's not comparable, you know what I mean? So I just think the practices that ask you to like really position yourself to meet them, those are the ones I'd say are similar to DJing, you know? Man, I think once you tell them you're a DJ, it's all out the window. You're fucked. Yeah, the first DJ pickup line is don't tell them you're a DJ. You're like, hey girl. You like to party, you know what I'm saying? The real move is, you find out what they want to go to, you know what I mean? You find out what they're into, and then you just slide out. You're like, oh, we should hang sometime. You want to go to this? All right, cool, we on the list. You just keep it subtle. You know what I mean? Because, you know, the best part about being a DJ, not the best part, but a significant, you know, perk, you know, we pass guest lists out to each other like it's Pokemon cards, you know what I mean? So like, you know, you want to show a girl a good time, you can take them to the bougie spots that not everybody's going to, at the fancy ass hotel on the rooftop, and your homie's DJing, and you know he's gonna send you over some drinks, and you know what I mean? So I feel like it's less about the pickup line and more just like you gotta know how to use what you got, or you know, how to play it. So there's a label in Philly called Cake Productions who operates out of Warehouse on Watts, which is one of my favorite venues. If you're ever in Philly, just look at their schedule and pick something out and go to that. They got swings in the club. That's how you know it's good. Anyway, but so we were doing live show stuff. I would be at this venue, you know, DJing. They had like a live stream during COVID that I was a resident on and all this stuff. And the label, Cake Productions, that operated out of the spot, kind of ran production there. It was one of these late nights after a show. We were in the studio in the venue. They have a nice studio in the venue. And I was just playing some stuff, and they were like, "You make beats?" And I was like, "Yeah." They're like, "You should put an EP out with us." And you know, it kind of clicked for me because I was like, you know, I have a lot of music I'm sitting on, but having somebody who can kind of help walk you through the release process, you know, because I throw shows, I DJ, you know what I mean? I don't know about that world as much, you know. I know about SoundCloud, I don't know about Bandcamp or like real distribution, you know. So, and they have like a licensing deal and like, you know, they got their stuff together. So when they gave me that opportunity, I started to really think about Ultraviolet and put it together, and it took way longer than it should have. It took like a year and some change to finally get it out, but we did it. And really it was just it's a collection of some new, some old beats that were like the first batch of sounds that I felt were like my own. You know what I mean? I feel like they're like a direction I want to go deeper in. You know, I'd made a whole lot of hip hop and trap before that, and I liked it, you know what I mean? I still bump my old beat tapes and stuff, but I wanted to make something that kind of stood on its own and wasn't waiting for a vocalist. You know, and there are vocals on Ultraviolet on a couple of the tracks. Definitely a passion project, but also, you know, me trying to, at this point in my career, I'm really trying to connect those dots and take my production more seriously and put it out there and let it be part of the DJ Sun world. All right, the first is the most obvious, right? I got my JBL, this is the Clip 4. This is not an ad, but I do recommend it. It's got the little clip, Bluetooth joint, really bumps. Like if I had a superpower, it would be to create sound, you know what I mean? Like with no speakers, because my back hurts, you know what I'm saying? No, but seriously, like imagine if like, because it goes a couple different ways, right? Not only can you just create sound, like, oh, you want to hear Dreams and Nightmares? It's playing. But you can also be like, it's just playing for you. Nobody else could hear it in the room, you know what I mean? That gets into like the actual superpower application. But, you know, I just love having a soundtrack. I love being able to like be out, you know, with the homies. We're at the park, we're in the car. They got their own speakers in the car. But you know what I'm saying? Like just being able to have music in my hand, you know what I mean? And be able to like play the beats that I bounced from the last session when I'm out. You know, it's gonna feel different. Or just like, you know, I might need to hear some Jeep Funk when I'm at the park, you know what I mean? So just having that access to this kind of technology just seems really, really cool. I can't leave the house without this. This is kind of on the same time, this is just a Polaroid camera, you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of parties, a lot of events, a lot of loved ones coming in and out, and like we're on go all the time. So, you know, it's, you know, being present is something we all gotta work on our own time, you know what I mean? Not let these very special moments be taken for granted or just go past us. And I feel like a Polaroid is a cool way to do that. You know what I mean? You know, just pulling it out. You got the lineup backstage an hour before the show starts. Yo, let's take one. You know what I mean? I've had this for years. This is one of the ones that actually like prints it. You know, like the old Polaroids. You know what I mean? So yeah, just, you know, be sentimental. This yo-yo. Sometimes you be at the venue or you're at the block party and you're waiting for your set. You got mad time to kill. So I keep the yo-yo on me, and I got a scooter in my car. Like the little Razor scooter. That's for like the block parties and stuff when you just want to, you know, you're in the parking lot for 5 hours. Move a little bit. I'm gonna give y'all a demo right quick, because some people be yo-yoing, some people be yo-yoing. It's kind of like this DJ game. Anybody can DJ, but not everybody's a DJ. Right? You know what I'm saying? Alright, this right here, this is the best story out of all this stuff. They're all accompanying this, right? This is an amethyst. I got it from a rock dealer at this show I played in Maine years and years ago. Amethyst is my birthstone. I'm an Aquarius. This is a smoky amethyst from Namibia. And then when I go to my shows, I bring it and I put it in my pocket. And wherever I'm at, whatever venue I'm at, I take it out and I put it on the equipment before my set. And it's like, you could believe in the energy charging up, you could believe in all that, or you could just think of it as a trigger. You know what I mean? When I put this out, just that act of me putting this on my equipment, I'm in practice mode now. I'm in the gym. You know what I mean? It's just like to trigger me into that mode. You know what I mean? So, you know, been with me at a lot of shows, a lot of different states. Been, you know, out of the country with me. Cool rock. Cool rock. That's a cool rock. All right, then I got these glasses, right? My homie Foxy got me these. Foxy Nora, incredible DJ. It's my young bull. I met her at a party in Fairmount Park. It was like a big cookout. Shout out DJ BM, that's in Philly. And I met this girl, Jane, who goes by Foxy's Funk. And she was getting in her DJ journey at that point in time. She was talking to somebody who lived in Baltimore, so she would come down, and every time she would go to see her man, she'd call me and be like, yo, I'm here, like, what's up? I would be like, yo, pull up to my gigs, you're hopping on, you know what I mean? Because she was nice with it, but didn't know it yet, you know what I mean? And, you know, fast forward a couple of years later, she's killing it. She, you know, has her residencies, she does this full time now, she's doing her thing. Anyway, she a rock star. She got me these, and she was like, we got matching glasses, right? So whenever we play lineups together, we both show up with our glasses, you know what I mean? And you know, it's the rock star activation, right? And I don't want that to be some pretentious, superficial thing I'm talking about, right? What we do is larger than life in a lot of ways, you know what I mean, as performers, you know what I mean? And anybody who is in this industry and in this line of work knows that, you know, people want you to be larger than life. You know what I mean? And that doesn't mean be cocky. You can still be humble and be larger than life, but like representing something bigger than yourself, right? And you know, she would come through and she'd be like, yeah, I'm a rock star now. I'm a DJ. You know what I mean? And I was a little bit later in my career at that point in time, maybe a little jaded, and I was just like, you know what, damn it? Yeah, we are rock stars. You know what I mean? So you know, these are super regular sunglasses, but just on that type of time, you know what I mean? Sometimes you just gotta turn your swag on right quick, you know what I'm saying? So that's what these are for. Keep them with me if I'm trying to, you know what I mean? But shout out Foxy. Yeah. Check it out. Shout out Michael from Currency Studios. He's one of my mentors, a good friend, and a fucking genius. This dude, his Instagram bio says visionary. And most people, I'd be like, all right, not him. I'm like, yo, he need a name tag to say that. Like, this is, so he's got his own clothing brand called Currency. It's been around since 2007, I believe. Baltimore, born, raised dude. And he has this gallery on North Avenue that's really cool, and it's like they have their little retail spot, and then the rest of it is a gallery that he curates with people from Baltimore and around the world. So you go in and it's almost like a museum vibe, and then the little section is of the store where you can buy his clothes. But as far as process, as far as intentionality, and as far as just like somebody who would come on here and just blow everybody's minds with gems about, you know, how to actualize creative ideas, that's the dude. I want to see that. So yeah, get Mike on here. Yeah, I will. And then I want to shout out Good Boy too. You know what I mean? Jack is somebody who works with a lot of different styles of music. You know what I mean? He's done house music stuff. He's done rap stuff. He's done, you know, club music stuff. He's R&B. Like, this man is just so diverse. And I know that this is somebody who doesn't leave the house. You know what I mean? We all know how our producer friends are. They don't leave the house. Yo, pull up. They're not pulling up. So we don't even call them anymore. No, and like running studio sessions and working with writers is a whole art in itself. And the way he like really works with artists to make them feel comfortable enough to lay it all out there on the track is something that's really special. And just seeing him navigate like all these different worlds that you got to step into for working with all different people. Yeah, Good Boy. Just do you know what I'm saying? I think action is better than inaction, even if the action isn't perfect. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people spend a lot of time waiting for things to align just right, to put themselves out there. And you see what kind of world we're living in, nothing's gonna align. Sometimes you just gotta put yourself out there, jump off that cliff, build the plane while you're in midair, you'll figure it out. But yeah, just express yourself. That's it.
Yeah, that's the DJ sign.
Thank you for having me.